Hi everyone, I'm back to share another hand, an interesting hand that I played. This hand had kind of a lot of things going on. There was something pretty interesting from the bidding, and then also in the play, it deals with a couple interesting things. So I thought I'd share it with you and go through it. So it started pass, pass, and I was in third chair here with a nice 11-point hand, an automatic opening bid of one spade. My left-hand opponent overcalled two clubs. And my partner bid three clubs, which we play is a Q bid, is a limit raise or better, like a maximum pass hand. He can't really have much better because he's a passed hand, but I'm expecting about 10 points for the three club bid. Now, my right hand opponent came in with three hearts, and it was an interesting bid. This is a weird situation that when you don't have a good enough hand to open one heart or two hearts, it's interesting to suddenly have a good enough hand to bid three hearts. But one of the reasons that my opponent felt comfortable bidding three hearts is they knew that we were on our way to three spades anyway. So they were just trying to kind of poke in with the heart suit in case they might have had a fit in hearts. It was a pretty smart bid to make. Sometimes this bid will often have a club fit when people will make it as a passed hand, just because they can't have a good enough heart suit on their own because they would have had a one heart opener or a two heart opener. So we know it's not just some purely good 6-card heart suit. It's usually probably going to be more like a 5-card heart suit with some kind of club fit. So over three hearts, Warren and I have a special agreement that is very common among experts, although not completely standard. Some people play different ways in this situation. Because three clubs forced us to the level of three spades, we play that we're still, even though this person has come in with three hearts, we play that we are still forced to bid three spades at this point in the auction. We are not allowed as a partnership to settle for the opponent's playing three hearts once his bid has forced us to the three level. Once Warren's three club bid has forced us to the three level. So when we're in a situation like this, we don't use pass to say I have the worst hand I possibly could have. We actually use going directly, almost like a fast arrival type concept, where if I go directly to three spades, the message of a three spade bid to Warren would be I have the worst bid I possibly have. And when I have game interest, I can actually pass, and that'll actually tell my partner, hey, you know what? I am actually a little bit interested in game. Not enough to jump to game all by myself, but I have a decent hand. And what's interesting about this 11-point hand that I have is even though I only have 11 and my partner only has at most 11, probably only 10 at most, because we usually open 11-point hands, not all of them. This is a special 11-point hand that I have because I can see that, first of all, my king of hearts is in a very good place. Second of all, I have four baby clubs, or whatever, the jack of clubs is counted as a baby club. So I think there's a decent chance that if the three heart bidder has some kind of a club fit, that my partner's going to have short clubs. And really, if I start putting together how many points I need from my partner to make game, not that many. So I decided that with this 11 count, that what I would do is I would pass, and not indicating to Warren, hey, I am interested in game. If you don't have a ridiculous three club bid, the worst three club bid you could have, I want to go to game. Or another way to put it is if you have a good three club bid, I want to go to game. So over three hearts, I passed and went pass, and Warren signed off in three spades, and now I felt like I'd done enough, and I passed. So the opponents led the ace of clubs, and Warren's hand came down, which with a kind of an unconventional limit raise. Warren had three options that he could have made in our system, and I've actually discussed with him the parameters of the three of them. His choices in our system were to bid three clubs, limit raise. He could bid three hearts. We play a jump to one under of three of our major, shows a mixed raise, which is 7 to 10 with 4-card support. Or finally, we play that if he had jumped to three diamonds, we play something called a fit jump shift. So that would have showed 5 diamonds and 4 spades, but probably more like 9 working points. Like even if the queen of clubs was the queen of spades, that would be a perfect hand for a fit jump. Anyway, Warren decided to show a limit raise. It was a little bit aggressive, but as he said to me afterwards, he said, you know, if you had 13 points outside of the club suit, we're probably going to make a game. And he's right. His hand has a lot of playing strength. He can imagine if I just have some hand like ace, king of spades, ace of hearts, he doesn't have so many losers in his hand. So that's only 11 points. But you can imagine adding another 2 points in there, and we just have an easy game. So I definitely understand him upgrading to show a limit raise. But now let's get to the play. We settled in a very normal contract. In fact, we were inevitably going to get to three spades no matter which action he took. If he had made a mixed raise, I would have signed off. If he made a fit jump, I would have signed off. This was pretty much, this hand was destined to be played in three spades. And the opponents led the ace of clubs. Now, when ace of clubs, queen, and I saw the 8 on my right. Now, this is supposed to be a suit preference situation. So that 8 of clubs should be conveying the message over to West that they want hearts. Now, that's kind of obvious from the bidding as well, but that just to take into account what that 8 of clubs is. Now, my opponent led another club, and now I was thinking that maybe my opponent had misread that 8 of clubs, or regardless, I wasn't 100% sure where the king of clubs was. I decided at this trick that I would throw a loser on a loser, and I would discard a heart, hoping that my jack of clubs would win. Unfortunately, the king of clubs won on my right. Now, the opponent cashed the ace of hearts, which we kind of expected them to have, and went small, queen, small. And now they played another heart, and I flew up with the king, and it went jack 10. Now, at this point in the hand, it's time for me to draw trumps. I can see that if I can avoid a trump loser, I've lost 2 clubs and a heart. So I'm pretty much inevitably going to lose that ace of diamonds. So I need to avoid a trump loser. So I cashed the ace of spades, and the queen fell on my left. Now, this is a special spot that if you might have heard us talk about it on Wednesday mornings or just in general, this is called restricted choice. So if West had queen, jack, doubleton of spades, they would have had the choice to play the queen or the jack, and most defenders would play one or the other. They would be kind of random about it. So when they play the queen, when it's twice as likely to be a singleton queen, because if you have queen jack doubleton, only half the time would we have seen the queen. But if they have singleton queen, 100% of the time they would have to play the queen, obviously, because it's their only card. So when you have a 9 card fit and you're missing the queen jack, this is a very common situation that you have to forget about 8 ever, 9 never, and instead you have to instead of 8 ever, 9 never, you have to go and you need to finesse for your right hand opponent or whoever it is for the jack. So that's my plan on this hand now, but I see that there's some issues because I'm a little bit, if I can play a heart and rough it and I can finesse a spade, or I can play a diamond up. Now my first instinct was to play a diamond up, but then I started thinking, but wait a second, if I play a diamond up, then if my left-hand opponent wins the ace of diamonds, what happens if they have 6 clubs? Now they're going to win that ace of diamonds and they're going to play a club, and East will be out of clubs and they'll have to overruff. I mean, then they'll be able to overruff with their jack of spades. What I would really like to do is get the trumps out before I play a diamond up. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to rough the 8 of hearts, take a spade finesse, and then I'm going to have to use dummy's last trump, and I will kind of be marooning the king, queen of diamonds, which I have this 9 of clubs that's a loser. But watch what happens. So I can play, I played a heart and roughed it in dummy because I was still afraid of that club over rough. And now they played a spade. I played a spade and finessed it, and sure enough, the restricted choice was correct, and the jack of spades was onside. Now I drew trumps, but what's beautiful about this end position is that I'm very confident. My left-hand opponent has overcalled. They've only showed up with the ace of clubs and the queen jack hearts. That's 7 points so far, and the queen of spades, if you want to count that as points. They still showed up with 9, so I'm pretty confident that my left-hand opponent has the ace of diamonds. So now when I play a diamond and they win the ace, they're on lead and they don't have hearts. It didn't matter what they played. They could play a club from their 10 into my jack 9, or they can play a diamond, giving me my entry to dummy. But the key was that I was safe. And as it turned out, I really needed to worry about that 6. If the clubs were 5-3, there wouldn't be a problem because well, they couldn't be 5-3 because then they would have had 5-5 in the minors. But even if they were 5-3, it still wouldn't have been any different from the end of this hand. So just to show you what would have happened is after I played the ace of spades, if I played a diamond, they would have won the ace of diamonds while there were trumps out, and they could play a club, and even if I rough with the 8, then they can overruff, and that's my 5th loser. I would have ended up losing 2 clubs, 1 heart, and the ace of diamonds and the jack of spades for 5 losers. So I avoided that by just realizing, okay, the ace of diamonds had to be on my left, and what was going to happen, that they wouldn't have any hearts left. And if they ducked the diamond, then I wouldn't lose a diamond. I would have ended up losing the 9 of clubs instead. Cool hand from the tournament. Hope you enjoyed it, and WolperBridge.com will be launching very shortly. Thank you.